Hey, Tilray traders and investors, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Today is Tuesday, April 8th. Tilray earnings came out today and just finished the conference call. And your home for MJ Stocks and crypto. Very, very fitting video today. We had some breaking news that Tilray Brands is going to be accepting crypto soon on their e-commerce platforms, and they're going to be implementing AI. I've been saying for many, many years now that we're going to see crypto, AI, blockchain, MJ. It's going to be the place to be in the next couple of decades, right? That's where all the growth is. And I've been saying for many months, maybe even years now, that big tech, crypto, and AI will continue to steal the spotlight, but after we should see MJ benefit and see, a rotational play, and MJ will start to garner the attention, but not it'll more than likely take big tech, crypto, and AI topping out. And then today, like I said, I'll play the clip a little bit later on in this video as well, and we'll do a quick review. We'll take a look at the Tilray chart. There is a bearish continuation pattern targeting 42 cents. So show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. And earnings were not great today. They had a big miss. But like I said, breaking news on the call today, on the conference call, they said they're going to be accepting crypto and they're going to be implementing AI across their global operations. So this is the trend right now. We're seeing crypto with a lack of banking reform in the U.S. as well. It just makes sense. And they talked about strategic initiatives as well. So we'll discuss all of that and more. Before we do, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. It's my largest MJ portfolio holding. And I understand MJ is not for most people, right? Crypto is not for most people. That is for certain. And it's not for the faint of heart. You need to know what you're investing in. You can never put any more than you're willing to lose. I always say rule of thumb is never put 5 to 10% of your net worth into one sector, let alone one crypto or one stock. So again, this has been brutal. It's not just Tilray though. We can't just say, Tilray is the only one who's struggling. We're down 80 to 90% on most names across the sector from all-time highs. Look at Green Thumb. It's down almost 70% since April 2024, and it's been posting stellar earnings after stellar earnings. So while these earnings were not stellar, again, there's a lot to like here and a lot of attention, and in my opinion, still the most exciting company in the MJ space. Yes, they're branching off into alcohol and other segments. They still have their wellness business. They still have their distribution business with pharmacies, I think it was like 13,000 pharmacies. So there's a lot of adjacencies here to the MJ industry. And think of the Sweetwater 420 brand, right? That's got MJ written all over it. And that was a lot of the reason why they bought it in the first place was because of those adjacencies and the branding. But you can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. I did post on there earlier today the estimates from analysts, and then also the results. So they had a big miss in terms of revenue. We were forecasted at 211.5 million, came in at 185.8 million. There was some SKU rationalization of about 13 million, and they said Q3 typically not the greatest seasonality, and it did drop off substantially. They had a huge miss in terms of EPS. They had negative 0.87, but that was due to a huge $700 million impairment. So that, if you actually look at the adjusted EPS, it was actually zero, but the forecast was negative 0.042. So it looks worse than it actually was, and we'll dive into that more in just a moment. But we'll play the clip here. This has to do with crypto and AI. And one thing you'll notice, right? Like if this company is so if it's dead and there's nothing happening, there's no interest, why are the conference calls going an hour and 34 minutes pushing, 2 hours, right? And a lot of analyst calls. There's some companies that don't even have calls anymore. And I would argue that Tilray is still the most exciting company in MJ. You have to think this company is Tilray, Afria, Hexo, and Redican. If you would have told people, 5 years ago that this company would all be under one umbrella, people would have say it's lights out. There's no chance in hell anybody's going to compete, right? And that is the company that we're dealing with today. So we'll play this clip, super exciting, and we'll get right to it afterwards.
We are also leveraging advanced technology to align with our shareholders' interests, the consumer of tomorrow, enhancing efficiency and driving growth. AI is being implemented across our global platforms. We're combining AI-driven data insights with advanced horticulture automation technology in global greenhouse operation. This integration allows real-time management of greenhouse conditions, leading to increased efficiency, higher output, improved quality, and reduced costs for resources such as labor, water, and energy. Additionally, Tilray plans to accept cryptocurrency as a payment method in its online operation and is exploring strategic initiatives related to cryptocurrency that aligns with our business goals. That is just the beginning. Tilray Brands is at a transformational point in its journey. Our strategic initiatives, innovative product development, and robust infrastructure are propelling us towards unprecedented growth. We have harnessed efficiency across our businesses, facilities, and systems, and our workforce globally, ensuring we're prepared to capitalize on every opportunity.
All right, so I highly encourage you to check out the conference call. Again, I recorded that just before this video, and it's live on YouTube, so you can check that out. And I gave commentary in the live chat as well, my thoughts and opinions on it. Just in the effort of time, I won't go through it in this video, but you can take a look at the live chat. And like I said, go through this video and get the full thing, right? There was a lot, like it's such a long update too, right? It's pretty impressive, the company that they're building. And yeah, this is an exciting announcement, right? And especially, for my channel that's MJ focused, it's pretty surreal to see them talk about crypto and AI. And remember this video? I posted this about a half a year ago. The future MJ AI revolution. I talked about how, this was going to revolutionize medicine in the future, and how AI mixed with MJ was going to, not only from a cultivation perspective, improve everything, in a data analytics perspective, right? And knowing your consumer, et cetera, like analyzing trends and buying patterns, whatnot, to increase, basket sizes, that type of thing. It's also going to help, this is medicine of the future, right? This isn't just an alternative. This isn't just a brewer. This isn't just an alcohol company. This isn't just a distribution or a distribution business or an MJ company. This is a wellness company, right? This is literally medicine enhancing people's lives and treatments of, epilepsy and pain and anxiety and terminal illnesses. And, this is going to change people's lives for the better. And, they also have their energy drinks, which are, all natural. They also have their healthier alternative and non-alcoholic beverages as well, right? So alcohol isn't going anywhere, MJ isn't going anywhere, and Tilray isn't going anywhere. And he said that in the call as well, that he believes that, Tilray is here to stay. And I could not agree more. And just love to see that they're utilizing AI. And the fact that they mentioned crypto as well. I'll talk about crypto in just a second, but remember this, MJ Moment reported that White House has no action planned on MJ, but Trump quietly pushes lawmakers on banking reform. So while there's no access to banking in the US, right, it makes it very, very difficult for a lot of these companies to operate. And it makes sense that we get the companies start to leverage AI and they start to leverage crypto, especially in lack of banking reform. So I think this is a smart move. I mean, obviously they're into their hemp drinks. They talked about that. They're in 10 states in the US. I think they got out of Texas. So they didn't mention that in the call. They talked about all the states that they're in. They didn't mention Texas. So I think they're completely pulled out of there. But that they've been cracking down hard. But I do think that, hemp drinks will essentially be regulated the same as MJ. Like in Canada, it's almost 7 years legal here at the federal level, and MJ and hemp are regulated the same. So eventually it'll be the same, and once federally permissible under federal law, right? Yeah, I do think beverages will have staying power, even though the flour, hemp flour and all that stuff will probably be getting banned more than likely. But on the crypto front, he said that, and I had a couple people reaching out saying, oh my God, they're pulling a GME. They're going to be buying Bitcoin. No, that's not what he said. He said they're going to be accepting cryptocurrency for payments and exploring other strategic initiatives. So I don't think that they're stockpiling or adding it to their, to their balance sheet. That doesn't sound what they're doing. They're just going to be accepting it as a form of payment, and then they might keep that crypto as a stockpile, kind of similar to what the US government is doing, right? They're not looking to buy crypto, but they're looking to, through Caesars and things like that, they're just going to stockpile it. They're not going to sell it. So this could be a very smart idea, in my opinion. And then, if we get rescheduling of medical in the US and whatnot, and then we still have lack of reform in the U.S. with regards to banking, this could be a nice stopgap to get us through until we have more reform, and look for other companies to start potentially following suit and doing the same thing. Because look at Tilray; it's a beverage company. It's the leader in the beverage industry, and they mentioned on the call as well. XMG and Molo are number one brands in Canada still. And just imagine once they start to bring it, they mention new products and whatnot with regards to their wellness business and foods and drinks, beverages. Think of hemp Delta 9, their drinks as well. They're probably going to see a bunch of new beverages and products there. But yeah, look at all of the companies, right? Organigram just bought a beverage company, a hemp business and beverage company, right? And they also have operations in Canada, not just the US. Who else got into it? Green Thumb just acquired a beverage maker. We also have Truly just launched their beverages Onward. So are we seeing a pattern here? Everybody wants to be King Tilray, and King Tilray has been the leader, and now they're doing the same thing with AI and crypto. Watch, you'll see every company doing it as well, right? Once one goes, they all follow. It takes two to tango. And I think that this is a great option. And what do you think? Do you think that I would love to get an interview with these guys? And like, why will they not take an interview from Powell? I think that's one thing that really frustrates me. I even interviewed Hexo CEO and CFO, and then they acquired Hexo. So if anybody deserves an interview, it's the Powell Group private community and my listeners and all you folks listening. Like, we've been long-term Tilray supporters, and nobody deserves it more than us. So go on here, go to contact, and just spam the hell out of them, will you? Because this is getting a little ridiculous, and I'm getting a little disappointed in Tilray with regards to that. At the very least, they owe us that. But let me know what you think. Do you think we're gonna like, what cryptos do you think we're gonna see as a form of payment? And it's gonna be on their online platforms, right, on e-commerce. And this is just sign of the times. This is where we're going, folks. This is the new financial revolution. This is the internet of value, the internet of money. Just look what the internet of information did. And like I said, MJ Crypto, this is an MJ and crypto channel. And couple that with AI, oh man, the future is super bright. And like you said, we're entering into a period of unprecedented growth. I don't think we're going to see, Bitcoin on there. Bitcoin isn't for payments, right? Even though the white paper and it was created for peer-to-peer transactions, it failed as that mission. It didn't fulfill its mission, right? It failed. It's now a quote unquote store of value, right? So essentially it doesn't have any utility, even though that's what it was created to do, right? If you're going to buy some hemp drinks, right, and you're going to pay $20, $30, there's times where a transaction on Ethereum or Bitcoin can cost more than that. And you're paying more in the fee than you would be in what product would cost, right? So I think, XRP makes a whole lot of sense. XLM, HBAR, it costs fraction of a penny to send it in terms of a fee, and it's there within a few seconds. And Bitcoin during, high congestion can take an hour, can take 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes is kind of the norm. That's not a solution for the future, right? So I think, it's going to be interesting to see. And again, another reason why I'd love to get an interview with them. But obviously, I'm not going to read this entire thing. Like I said, this is a lot to unpack here. They did strengthen their balance sheet with convertible note reduction of $58 million, and they did have $248 million in cash available. They talked about potential acquisitions as well, being something that they might see. They're really starting to focus on the medical and international side of things as well, because that's going to be, they're seeing strong sales growth in Germany. I think they said 79% growth in flower, and they're seeing that they have over 5 million square feet of capacity. Like, that is insane. They just migrated Jean-Guy over to Masson facility in Quebec, and 10 distribution states, U.S. distribution states. Distribution in 10 states in the U.S., like I said, getting out of Texas. But SKU rationalization, $13 million. Like I said, they headed that impairment of $700 million, but adjusted EPS remained at zero in both the third quarter and comparative period. So net loss, $793.5 million, but $700 million was a non-cash impairment as a result of macroeconomic conditions, declines in market capitalization, foreign exchange loss, amortization, changes in fair value and convertible notes receivable, and stock-based compensation, as well as non-recurring transaction and restructuring changes. So it looks worse than it actually was. And like I said, we should see a big improvement to their margins with international sales and less excise tax. And they talk about, how even just some reform there in Canada would be huge to their bottom line, right? If we just, speaking of excise tax, if we do scroll down here, you can see they paid 18.7 million in excise tax, right? That's insane. Their revenue from Canadian adult use was 49.3 million. So it's unfortunate that the average is about a third of these companies' quarterly revenue is going, and revenue in general is going to excise taxes in Canada. So there's a lot of things here, right, that are at play. There's high taxation, there's lack of reform in the US, right? There's so much growth, but the bad thing about being early is you're early, but the good thing about being early is we're early, right? There's still 95% of the growth ahead, and one earnings report isn't going to change that, right? And I've been mentioning for a while now, at least a couple of weeks, that Tilray was a weekly bear flag, and we did confirm the bear flag. And we take the measured move. You just go from the high to the low of that move, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it was saying 42 cents was the target. And today we hit 50 cents new all-time low. So again, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. We are about 16% away from that target. We are seeing a little bit of bullish RSI divergence here with lower highs and lower lows on the price, and higher lows and higher highs on the RSI. But I would expect, after we do get around that 42 cent level, I do think that we would see a massive bounce at some point soon. And we do have 420 around the corner. Like I said, the new administration is not making this a priority. I do think that they'll get banking done though, and then possibly rescheduling in the next year or two. And then, they'll want to get banking done first because they'll want to bring, it's a risk, right? It's dangerous for these employees and their, the customers in the stores operating as a cash business. I mean, it's the 21st century, for crying out loud. It's time to get with the program. You can't even buy with a credit card in the US. And they're going to want to get the big banks position, right? The JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, the institutional capital, the hedge funds, before they have any sizable and meaningful reform in the US, right? Nothing happens in the world without those Wall Street banks, right? So they'll want to get them positioned first. We are looking not too bad here. We just hit a stochastic bull cross on the weekly, and the MACD is set to potentially cross bullish here over the next couple of weeks. Just get above that 10-week moving average as well, and we're pretty much all systems go at that point. And we're below all of our weekly moving averages still, and our daily moving averages. But the good thing about these moving averages is we usually gravitate back towards them. And as long as you believe that, MJ isn't going anywhere, Tilray isn't going anywhere, in my opinion, it's a long ways away before we have anything to worry about. People were asking about reverse splits. They got a 6-month warning. So that means at least 6 months, and they could get an extension for another 6 months, similar to what VFF Village Farms got in 2023 and some of the other companies in the space. So that means that effectively they could basically go a whole year without being forced to do a reverse split and avoid delisting, right? So it could be a whole year before we see a reverse split. So I would put that at probably a 50% chance that they're going to reverse split versus they won't, and they'll regain compliance organically, but not the end of the world. Aurora already did 2 reverse splits and posted good earnings, and somehow people love Aurora now, right? Every time I hear reverse split, people are like, oh, they're reverse splitting, they're going bankrupt. That's not what that means. Reverse splits are not good. The optics are not good. Everything about it is not good, right? But the only good thing is they get to maintain their listing on the US major exchange. But Aurora did 2, a 1 for 12 and then a 1 for 10. And then they had one good earnings report and everybody loves them now, right? And they completely forget about the reverse splits, or they didn't even know in general because they just weren't paying attention. And once they had a good earnings report, then they paid attention, right? But then after their earnings report, it was just the mountain pattern, right? Straight up, straight back down, because the whole sector was still bearish, right? And some people say, yes, who cares if they did 2 reverse splits? They had good earnings. Yeah, but it crashed right back down because the whole sector was bearish, and they focus on medical and international sales. That's exactly what Tilray said. They're starting to pivot to as well, right? So one can expect might be a similar outcome here for Tilray in the not too distant future. And who cares? Green Thumb has amazing earnings, and the stock's down almost 70% since April 2024. It doesn't matter if you're profitable, unprofitable, great earnings, terrible earnings, MJ, retailer, producer in the US, Canada, they're all down 80 to 90% plus from all-time highs. And if you're an MJ stock, you're treated like an MJ stock, and how you've been treated is your stock has been absolutely decimated, right? But at the end of the day, it's not going to stay like this forever. The industry isn't going anywhere. Tilray isn't going anywhere, in my opinion. Just like Amazon in the early days, it dropped 95%, right? It was dead money for the longest time. It wasn't investable. Some people said it was almost bankrupt, right? And we all know those who bought the dip then, and they weren't plagued by high excise taxes. They weren't plagued by high taxes. They weren't, dealing with products that were federally illegal in the U.S. Right. So what was their excuse for dropping 95% and taking 10 years to recover after that? Right. It happens to every new emerging industry, but with it being MJ and being federally illegal in the U.S., with it being, punishable by death penalty for simple possession in some parts of the world, like Singapore, right? If you're caught smoking, that they'll kill you, right? So what does that tell you? That tells you like 95% of the growth is still ahead. So again, bad thing about being early is we're early, and the good thing about being early is we're early. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. What stood out on the earnings call and the earnings in general. I always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Pow Group. We'll continue the conversation in the comment section below. But thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.